Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel, people. As always, make sure that you lot are smashing up the likes. Make sure that you lot are subscribing to the channel. Big up ranks for the raid as well. I think it's in the chat today for a change. And we've got 60 people waiting already, man. A few of the men are going to be here, people. Don't worry. So AJ, Jimmy, Couch, AJ, they'll be here in a second. But I don't want to keep you lot waiting. So me and Jim are just gonna go at it, bruv. Because that comes, like the title says, Jim, the rival tears have been so sweet, bruv. They have been so sweet, bro. I was on midday live earlier. I had D crying. I had Roms talking about, I was at the game and I was seeing people weren't even running. They weren't even tracking back. You know, Hussam was crying yesterday on the terrace and that. And I'm like, I love it. That's when I know Chelsea have done something correctly, bro, when people are crying like this. You know what I'm saying? But how you feeling, first of all, Jem, man? Big yourself up.
Yeah, big up, man. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up, Don. Again, it feels nice to be able to come on and after a match again, 3 wins in a row for us, a game that not many of us thought we would win maybe as well, even with Liverpool obviously getting the job done. We know what our top 6 our top 6 performances are like based on stats, and yeah, man, it's coming up to that point now where it's now, you know, the next 3 games are big now. We've made it a bit easier for ourselves, but we've got some big games coming up.
No, 100%, bro. We've got some big games coming up, and listen, don't get it twisted, people. Like, look, I know Liverpool, obviously, they've played a week inside and whatnot, and, you know, they've won the league already, so mentally they might not have been on it 100%, but when you've seen Chelsea struggle to get over the line against the big 6 teams, and you've seen, you know, time and time again, we play Liverpool, we draw against them, we lose against them, we literally lost against them in the final with a weakened team, we're going to be happy about it, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know why people act as if we haven't got an emotional connection towards our club. That's why it's easy for rivals to just say, like, oh, they were on the beach and that, bro. It's not like that for us. We're emotionally invested in the club. You know what I mean? We follow the club a lot more than you guys. So how we feel towards the win is going to be completely different. And at the minute, we need to get Champions League football, right? Those 3 points are massive because next week against Newcastle, Jem, listen, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show with everyone else. That's going to be a tougher game for me. You know what I mean? That's got a place where we've gone recently, bro, and not won. You know what I'm saying? So there's tougher tests to come. But let's break down the game yesterday. For me, I thought it was a very professional performance. I thought the lineup was very good as well. I know I saw a lot of people complaining about Reece not starting and whatnot, but end of the day, for me, starting Caicedo at right back and inverting him and still allowing Enzo and Palmer to be, you know, higher up on the pitch, creating for us, you know, controlling the game and whatnot, that gives us the best balance. You know what I'm saying? Right? And then having actual width in the Neto and the Madueke, you've seen the way Madueke is cooking on the left right now, bro. That's exactly what I want to be seeing. I don't want to see Palmer right wing right now because Palmer, he's not direct. He likes to cut in a lot, right? And that's gonna, you know, close down a lot of space in there. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy with the lineup. I was happy with the fact that we scored very early. You're seeing how important Lavia is to this system, bro. He's very, very key.
We know this.
We got Mr. HD says Lavia is the key, bro. He's the fucking key. Yeah. Let me bring Couch in right now because this is this is you know, from day one, me and him have been going back and forth about Lavia, bro. You know what I mean? How much we like him. But again, he's the key. He's someone that we've missed in this team, right? But bro, defensively in this game, Jem, we let them have the ball, but we were very, very good defensively. You know, I like to Chalobah when he does some bozo shit. I thought he was brilliant. Yeah. You've got Colwell. I thought he was brilliant. I thought Sanchez, no faults. Yeah. Cucurella locked up Salah, right? Caicedo, for the most part, was good. Towards the end of the game, he started to gas out a little bit, but good in-game management from Maresca. And then the midfield, bro, Lavia, Palmer, Enzo, they played well. We'll talk about Palmer as well in a little bit more detail. I thought he was very good. And then Neto and Madueke, bro, I thought they were good as well. It's just Jackson that was a little bit off in the game, I'll be real. But what did you think of the game, man, first of all?
I think just before we get into the game, I felt I'd like to say, obviously, and just a quick mention on Maresca himself. I thought he got it spot on yesterday. I thought tactically he was right. I thought the instruction was the most important thing because you could see it on the pitch. The instruction to, you know, get the goal early, which we did. I see Hussam yesterday. I was on the terrace for the first time in a while, to be fair, and I see Hussam trying to say that basically they weren't up for it and they weren't really playing and whatever. But that first goal all came from not only a great ball from Lavia into Palmer, but Palmer's movement to put Curtis Jones on the floor, which was immense, to receive the ball into Neto. And then Enzo Fernandez, which is what he's been doing for quite larger parts of this season now, crashing the box at the right time. and putting the ball in the back of the net. But listen, I thought the defense was very good yesterday, and I also want to say well done to Sanchez as well. I thought he had good moments when called upon as well. He did have one or two bozo moments where he gets the ball, he has a bit of time, and he just oofs it to them, and it's like, why are you doing that, bro? Like we're trying to keep the ball a bit better, I thought Chalobah and Colwell. Listen, I've been critical of Colwell. I thought both of them were very good. To be quite honest, I thought they've done very well. And it's not like, and it's annoying because as Chelsea fans, we've always been very critical when we've been playing poor, and we always look at our defense, and but it just annoys you when you see them play like this sometimes, because you're like, why can't we see this a bit more consistently? We needed this. The midfield, I don't think we need to talk too much about, because I just think Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo, that three allow Enzo Maresca's tactical ability, his system, just to look even better. I think Lavia is massively key in it, as we know, because he's been out for a majority of the time. But it just allows us to flow better with the ball when we're trying to move from one side to the other. I also want to shout out Leroy and Madueke as well. Not Leroy Sané, Leroy Madueke.
Hey,
yeah, because, listen, this guy, right? You know what I liked about his performance yesterday was the fact that he had much more. He was using more of his dribbling ability, because he could go left, he could go right. He absolutely ruined Trent, by the way. He put Trent in a split pretty much close to the game, before he's obviously pissed off to Real Madrid. But yeah, I would say the only other thing I would say at the end of it, I thought Neto done well as well. I thought they've all worked hard. They all understood the instruction. I just felt a little bit let down by Jackson again. Just his movement, his understanding, his understanding of where we are in the game. I just felt we played with 10 men for quite a lot of the game, because he wasn't alleviating the pressure, because when the balls were coming into him, it looked like he had ice skates on again. He was just falling over everywhere, and when we got into good moments, how many times how could he not see from where he's standing? And I've sent an image to you guys of him where he's looking across the line and he knows he's offside, and he can see that Lavia, whoever it is, has got the ball. Caicedo's looking at him and going like, "I'm gonna pass this ball, make a movement." Man just makes the movements too late. He's just, his IQ's not there as a striker. It's like he doesn't understand the role a little bit, and it just really frustrates me, because if we had that clinical edge up front with someone that's a bit alert in the moments, we could have been 3-0 up easier in this game earlier on.
Quickly, bro, 100%. But again, it goes back to the fact that he came to Europe quite late, Jem. And for me, I told you lot in the group chat, I think this guy is gonna be a late boomer. Like he'll become a very good player at like 26, 27, because he still needs to learn the game. He literally said the other day, bro, like, Emery's the guy that taught me how to play. When I came and I was just running everywhere, that he's the one that started to teach me. You know what I'm saying? So
you learn the offside rule when you're a kid. The offside rule's the best thing you learn.
You do learn it, bro, because even away from that Lavia pass that he made to Jackson, there was a moment where Madueke, cool, he could have played the ball a bit quicker there, but if you're smart, you would know you're gonna have Kwanzaa for pace. So hold the line, bro. Sometimes you just hold your run. You wait for the pass in the space, and then you go. You know what I mean? He's just running. And I'm like, bro, use your brain. You can see Noni's end product ain't the greatest. You should know your teammates, right? One thing about football, you should always know your teammates. You should always know who you can play the ball to under pressure, and they can get out of it. You should always know who's going to be a little bit of a bozo at the back. You should always know who's going to finish chances in the final third, right? And he should know that Noni's end product ain't great. So there, you hold your line. You know what I mean?
And you wait.
Yeah. But let me come to Couch first, actually, because he came in here. He came in here first, so we'll go to him. What are you saying, Ads? First of all, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Again, 3 points, big game. Can't really complain too much, man.
100. I hear it, man. How about you, Couch, man? What's your take on the whole situation right now? Because I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about Reece. They're saying that Reece, it's looking like his time's done in the team. Do you think that's the case, or is it more just like horses for courses more often than not?
Really? That's what we're talking about right now? Like Reece after a 3-1 win? Really?
I mean, we're talking about the lineup. Yeah, let's go into it, brother, because it's a big discussion point right now, man.
All right, well, yeah, he didn't play. It happens sometimes. He's not the most. He just gets injured a lot, right? Like you can't play him week after week after week, right? The only thing that I can gather, if we're really going to talk about Reece right now, is the way that Maresca is talking about him in the post-match. Seemed like he was just talking about him like a squad player, more so than like the captain and leader of this team. That was the only thing I gathered. But in terms of like his Reece is not going to play every game. We know that already. When you have, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year when you had Caicedo inverting from the right and that four in the middle, not just Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia, but also Cole Palmer. That four can overwhelm teams. We've seen it, so it's formidable. Like when we dominate the middle areas of the pitch the way we can with those four, it's a long day for everybody. So when you have a must-win game, a game that you have to dominate the midfield, you have to control the game, and snuff out counters, snuff out any sort of like danger. Like it's those four. Reece James hasn't really been a guy that we can rely on in the inverted role to provide that same sort of solidity and ability to just like pop it about quickly, get us on the counter, get us into transition quickly, right? Good piece to have, and I still think that he has a lot of use within this team. But this is a must-win game. That was a must-win game, and that was the A lineup as far as what I see so far.
100%, and you can see here as well, ads. This is I think this is basically it's showing like where the team sort of play their most football, the areas of the pitch basically, and you can see right now Chelsea in terms of centrally, bro. 32% of our play seems to be coming through our midfield, right? And for me, it's been very clear when I watch Chelsea and I watch, the rest of the league. You've got Enzo Fernandez right now, top 4 creators in the league. Palmer, top 4 creators in the league. Only Bruno's created more chances than this guy, right? So a lot of our chances are being created centrally. And you can look at these gooners, bro. Look where they are. Bottom. You know what I'm saying? Most of their play is on the right-hand side with Saka. 43% of their play comes from the right-hand side, yeah? So you can clearly see that Maresca, as much as he likes the wing play, he also likes to overload the midfield. And when you start as someone like a Lavia, bro, it helps, like I said, Enzo and Palmer to have a little bit of solidity behind them. It offers us the best balance. Would you say that that's the best sort of team that we can put out there without Reece? Or would you say that Reece is still a part of our strongest 11?
It's funny because we've touched on like a couple of the things that have been the only negatives coming from the game, which was Jackson's performance, which was horrible. But you can give him the blight because he won us the game last week, scored 2 midweek, so you give him that. Reece James not coming on the pitch before Gusto really irked me. Even though of course we won, I was amazing, and we'll get into that. But that did annoy me because again, you guys know how highly I rate Reece. But obviously, it's clear now for a while that the manager doesn't rate his best attributes in terms of how they translate to his football. We see that he wants to play with the inverted, wants to overload midfield. He tried Reece in there, and Reece has been decent at times also looking like somebody who's not a natural midfielder, so he just ultimately doesn't suit what we're trying to do. Again, how Maresca wants to play overload in the midfield, for the most part, I like it. And I think it's taken to another level when Lavia comes into the team, because this guy is next level, bro. He's one of the most comfortable DMs I've ever seen on the ball. Like, he's just so comfortable being able to receive under pressure, turn, and break lines. And he does it with dribbling and with passing. And you look at that first goal, and listen, Caicedo's been our best player this season, by far one of the best midfielders in Europe for me, quite comfortably. But we don't score that goal if he's like the actual DM. Because as much as Caicedo's great on the ball and he's a pretty decent ball carrier, he's not to the same level as Lavia. He's not as comfortable being able to take the ball under pressure and like still dribble with it and then look for an option. And because he takes time on the ball, it actually gives Palmer the opportunity to make that double movement, get behind Curtis Jones, and then sets off that whole attack. And with Lavia in the team, we can just do that kind of thing so much more against teams that actually press higher up the pitch. So to answer your question, yeah, it's quite obvious. Playing this kind of football that we're playing, Reece James isn't a great fit for it, because we're not trying to overlap a fullback, we're trying to invert, we're trying to condense the middle. So of course, having that 4, which is Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, and Palmer there, that's money, that's cash money. And again, it was great to see it actually done on a big stage against a big team. Yeah, there's the talk about they're hungover and blah, blah, blah. And there's going to be that slight asterisk to this win. But listen, I've seen Chelsea have many favourable games against teams that were coming off of midweek games and teams of injuries and blah, 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 and not win. Again, we haven't had a win like this arguably since 2018 against the likes of Man City and Liverpool that we beat that calendar year at home. But since then, the only teams that we've been beaten at home that are in the big 6 are Tottenham, or teams when they're finishing like, 10th or below in the league. So we don't get these kind of wins often. So I'm going to still be appreciative of the win, be happy for the win. I'm still going to definitely demand more, because we need to see more to end this season and say that, okay, it wasn't just because we beat Liverpool because they were hangover. No, let's go and take it to Newcastle at St. James's. Let's make sure we beat Forest. It's absolutely double. Make sure we slap at Man United at home. That needs to be 3 points and a whooping. So a lot of positives to take from the game. The Reece James thing is a bit jarring, but listen, as long as the team wins and wins like that, I'm a happy man.
100%. And big up AP for the donation as well. It says, Don, this Lavia guy is so clear of Rice for me. If he stays fit, he'll be the best in his position. We're
not going to go one show about Rice being mentioned. It's funny, but
Rice ain't a six. Rice ain't a six. You know,
nah, he is in a double pivot.
He just doesn't excel at the things that Lavia excels at. But listen, I just want to see Lavia stay fit because these conversations are tough to have. Even though I see the quality, and I said myself that he's one of the most comfortable DMs I've ever seen. Like the talent is clear, but I wanted to see this guy stay fit, bro. Like he just needs to stay fit, and then the conversations will take care of themselves, man.
100%, bro. And AJ, big yourself up for being here as well, bro. One thing that I've been saying to people that, keep complaining about this Reece thing, he needs to start, because, you've got a lot of people that still want Maresca out, and they're going to keep complaining about every decision that he makes, even though the decision that he made was clearly correct. This was one of the first games, again, where he started the same 11, bro, which clearly shows that he trusted this guy, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, end of the day, right, when I watched Pep over the years with City when he was winning, there was a thing called Pep Roulette. And Pep Roulette is literally, you don't know who's going to start. If you guys play fantasy, bro, Ads plays FPL like me, and if you play fantasy, you would know that if you're bringing Man City players into your team, it's at your own risk. Because Mahrez might start 1 week, but then the following week is someone else. The following week is someone else, right? There's only a few people that you would see in there starting weekly, but there's a few individuals that would get rotated in the team, right? And that's how we kept, competition. That's how he was able to keep his team, unpredictable for managers. That's how he managed to keep players fit. You know what I'm saying? And we know Reece, bro. We know Reece's fitness ain't great. This is the longest we've seen Reece staying fit in like 3-4 years. Yeah. And now people are starting to get greedy, AJ. Do you know what I mean? Would you say that there's that side of things as well, where it's like we're managing this guy's minutes because fitness-wise, he's not it right now. Do you know what I mean? Like he's getting a bit better, but we still need to get him up a level. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think you hit it right on the point. People got to understand, it's a squad game, and there's going to be times in the season where, your favorite player might not get into the 11 just because the manager might have found something that's working. And, the player has to deal with it. I'm sure Reece James, he wants to be on the field, but he probably understands that, we got something that's working right now. Let me just do my job, come in that last 20 minutes. It's a great thing to have Reece James to be able to come in last 20 minutes and, be part of a strong squad already. So he's just adding more benefits to the team. So, the fans got to kind of open their mind a little bit more and understand, how things work. But at the same time, we want to see Reece James on the field. He can have an impact. And Ads, said that, Gusto coming in before Reece James, that people could feel a way about that because Gusto hasn't really had the best season. But again, like you said, we got to protect Reece James. He's somebody that we need at the club. We need that type of player. We need to have a squad that, is more than just the starting 11. It got to be 15, 16, 17 players that can contribute at any time. So, we're blessed that Reece James is still fit. He's still able to play. He's playing in the Conference League, so he gives us that quality in the Conference League. So, just accept what it is. And, he'll be here for us next season. And, maybe he could fight for a starting position. Maybe he'll be fitter. Maybe he'll understand the role more. Maybe he'll work on his, attributes in those central areas. So just relax, kind of.
100%, man. Big up AP again. It says Lavia and Palmer also have a very good relationship. Go watch the first half of the Spurs game. Lavia always finds Palmer. You can see they've played together for a while in the City's academy, bro. You make a very good point, Jem. AP, sorry. What do you think about that take there, Jem?
Yeah, I mean, like he said, there's a relationship there since they were young anyway. And I just think when you've got someone like Lavia who's so composed and technical on the ball, it makes it very easy for someone like Palmer to try and just look for the space because you're always going to receive it. When you're an attacking player, it doesn't matter who you play for. The one thing you look for is someone that's behind you that's is always going to find you, right? You want that. You will make them runs because you're going to get found. And that's what Lavia brings, and I just think he was so good. He was just so good, mate. He was just so good in that game. It was very clear why we need to try and maintain, look after him, keep him fit, and try and get him in this Club World Cup as well if we can.
100%, bro. It's just the way he gets the ball and he just punches it. I love midfielders that can just punch the ball in between the lines because it takes so many players out of play and it gives that person that's receiving the ball instruction of what to do with it, right? Players that play in between the lines like Palmer, bro, Felix, Rogers, these sort of players that want to turn and run, they want the ball to come in like that. Yeah, it's so hard to defend it when you play the ball like that to someone. You know what I'm saying? So Lavio big himself up every single time, and a big up Sean for this as well. He says big up Lavio, those reverse passes, bro. The tech is just mad. You can't press this guy. The thing is, when you press this guy, yeah, it honestly looks like it just looks like you can't get him. You know what I mean, Couch? Like you can't get near this guy, bro. He just it's so natural to him. That's why for me, my favorite players are always natural, just natural ballers. You know what I'm saying, Couch? You're mute, bro.
Mute,
let me unmute you.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, no, you guys know where I've been standing with this guy from time. Like these are things I've seen 3 years ago, really. Like he's that kind of a footballer. So yeah, like it's no surprise to me. The issue that he's always going to face, at least for the next year and a half, is just the injuries, right? Because as I've been saying before, it's just as your hamstrings start to like, he's gone through his last growth spurt. His hamstrings are still stretching, reshaping and whatnot to the last bone, his last growth spurt as far as bones go. So he's going to have a lot of injuries. You know, we're seeing that now. But once his body adjusts to that and he starts to play a little bit more regularly, you just got a fantastic footballer, a guy that when in possession knows exactly what to do, a guy that, you know, I still think defensively his awareness is not exactly where I want it to be as a defensive midfielder. Like sometimes he's caught out a little bit too often and uses his athleticism. And also when he gets tired, like you saw that lazy tackle on Salah just outside the box there. That's just lazy, tired, right? Like he looked like he was out of shape there, just bumbled into him. So, you know, as his fitness comes back, I think that'd be less of an issue. But as a footballer, guy on the ball, a guy that you can utilize in the first phase of your build-up, a guy that you can utilize to just sort of like spray passes all around the pitch, you know, press resistance, all of that stuff. He's top, man. He's top at a young age too.
Serious.
Can I just add one more thing on it before he goes on? Before we move on. I actually thought the decision to, and I think we're going to see this quite a lot because obviously it's a bit like Reece James and Fofana, is that he doesn't play a full 90 minutes and rivals try and use that against him. Oh, he never plays a full 90 minutes. No shit, Sherlock, because he struggles to play 2 games in a row. So, you know, it's about maintaining and looking after this guy, and like Couches, hopefully he grows in it. But the decision yesterday to take him off, the timing of it was correct. But then to bring Caicedo into the middle, and he just gives you that energy, man. The way that guy was intercepting high up the pitch, he was just reading every ball that Liverpool were trying to pass. And by the way, this is when Szoboszlai, McAllister, and their man were coming on the pitch. You know what I mean? Their main 11 players were coming on the pitch. Caicedo was just eating it up. And how many times did we see Caicedo yesterday get the ball and just drive forward, and they just couldn't stop him? He was going in and out of them. You know, they just couldn't handle his energy. And he just brings us something so good in the middle that it's frustrating that we have to play him on the right. I'd like to see him be able to play in front of Lavia and have that sort of, you know, that way of playing that he likes to play, where he can just express his energy across the pitch and because let's be serious, there's no one in world football better than, in my opinion, than Caicedo when it comes to reading the game, putting your energy in, you know, making that run to intercept, win the ball, and then just make, you know, get us on the break. He does it so many times.
He's a beast. Bro, two games in a row now, yeah. Man's counter press from the front. Against that team we played the other day in Europe, the goal that Jackson scored, man won it back quickly, right? This one here, he reads the situation. He done a similar thing against Spurs as well, where he gets to the ball before the player, and he knows the player's going to take him out. You know what I mean? And that's why for me, yeah, when this guy starts to play as an 8, Gem, when you see him playing box to box more, it's going to be long for teams. You're going to struggle to get out of your defensive line there because Caicedo is just going to be sniffing at you, bro. Going to be getting at you. You know what I'm saying, AJ?
No, you're right. I think Jem really, you know, hit all the points. You know, Caicedo he's just that guy. He's covering everything. He, you know, I understand that statement. You want to see him kind of centrally and I think Ads brought it up as well. You kind of want to see them centrally just to see what they could bring, but I mean, right now it's working, you know, to a T. So I guess we're just gonna ride it till it stops working. Pause.
No, 100%.
You feel me?
Now we actually have. We've finally replaced N'Golo Kante, bro. That's an area of the pitch that we Roman. That's one thing that I always spoke about. He neglected the midfield for too long, right? Got rid of Fabregas. We got no creativity for this guy, bro. We got rid of Matic and that. We're bringing guys like Jorginho, bro. We had no DM for years, basically. You know what I'm saying? And that's an area where I was like, are you not watching this? Like, Kante is gonna eventually just die, and that's what happened at the end. You know what I mean? His injuries just started to be all over the place, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I thought Caicedo was top yesterday, once again. And obviously he got player of the year. And I think he got player of the year as well, didn't he? Which was obviously what, richly deserved. But let's talk about Cole Palmer, bruv. Yeah? Let's talk about Cole Palmer, because yesterday was the Cole Palmer that I know and that I love, right? And I don't want to hear anything, people, about, oh, it's because he was in the right half space. Because in the past 3 games, he's played in the right half space, but he wasn't playing like what he was yesterday. Yeah? When me and Ads were speaking last week at the Everton game, when I said, look, for me, it's the fact that he's quite static with the ball. I'm not really seeing Palmer being direct, making people work, making people fouling, making defenders have to make a decision, trying to open space for other people. He's just doing this thing where it's like, stand on the ball, cross, stand on the ball, cross. And I'm like, I know you're not Rodgers on the ball in terms of the ball carrying, but you're better than this with the ball carrying, bro. You know what I'm saying, right? So yesterday, when you talk about his performances, he had the most passes in the final third, most touches in the opposition box, most shots, most chances created, most interceptions, most fouls won, most shots on target, right? He nearly scored from the left-hand side as well when he was playing yesterday. He was everywhere. You know what I mean? And for me, the major difference in his game, Ads, was just the intent, bro. You could clearly see this guy was up for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, literally. I mean, I've got a highlight package of literally his performance for the doing our match of the day. And yeah, literally, I'm seeing all the things that you're saying. He was everywhere in a good sense. And especially in that right half space where you can play most of the first half, he was just, again, involved a lot, but you're also seeing Lavia be able to get the ball to him, which helped a lot. But the main thing with Palmer was just him actually just doing more, just playing better. And I feel like a lot of times you always look at these players like, oh, it's down to the manager, it's down to the system. But sometimes it's just on the player to turn up or not, or just be in positions and then whether they're going to execute or not. And Palmer was executing a lot better yesterday. And it was a joy to see, because listen, I don't like seeing number 10s who just want to get the ball, pass or shoot, and they don't ball carry. Like, again, I say all the time when I talk about Bruno Fernandes, who I think is an absolute scrub, even though, yeah, he can make a final pass, he can make a shot, he can score a penalty 10 times a season, great, cool. But like, can you actually ball carry? Can you get your team out of tight situations on the ball? And that's what I was seeing Palmer not do in recent times. I'm seeing him like just get the ball and pop it off or struggle in tight areas. And that's what I don't want to see Palmer become, where it's like, oh, he's just about being a final action player and he doesn't want to play in between the lines. Because I know he can do that. I know he can also play well out in wide areas. And we saw it for the time he hit the post. We saw it for the time he created a chance for Noni, which led to the second goal. You can see him in the wide areas, be direct, take on a man, give him a little shimmy and beat whoever the fullback is. So we know that Palmer can do all these things, but also in central areas, he can get the ball and drive and actually make things happen and play these these perfectly weighted passes in behind, where he was finding either Neto in behind or Noni in behind. That is top, bro. Like, not many players can weight passes in behind like that against a high line which Liverpool have at a top level. So again, it was great to see him perform on a 4:30 kickoff, which we haven't seen many times this season from him and from quite a lot of the team, especially to win. So that was big, but again, I'm not going to be satisfied saying, oh, now we beat a big team, that's great, and I'm not going to overpraise it, because we needed to do this a long time ago. So now we're doing it now. I'm going to give them the ample praise, but this needs to be followed up by a win against Newcastle. What are you saying, Kat? Why you got jumping? What are you saying?
You've been banging this drum for the whole entire season, and when they come up, this is the business end of the season right now. They've stepped up and they've delivered a big performance. We have to just get behind them now and be like, yo, that's exactly what we want to see going forward now. But like, you can't just give them these backhanded comments after putting together a 3-1 win.
No, I eulogized about his performance and Labia's performance, and if we get onto other players who perform well, I want to talk about the defense as well. The defense, hey, I'm going to big them up too. But listen, they did their thing, and that's great. And I said there's a very small asterisk if you want to be like that. But for me, there's no asterisk if you go and follow this up by performing at St. James's Park and at the very least getting a job, but performing well. But also, why can't we beat them? If we beat Liverpool, why can't we beat Newcastle? And then it goes to Man United and then it goes to Forest. For me, that's what I want to see. I don't want it to be a case of, oh, we beat Liverpool. People are going to say, oh, they were hungover, they were on the guard of honor, they rotated the whole midfield, which is all true, but then we don't follow that up by then beating other teams. That's for me what I want to see.
I want to see some consistent performances as well. But you know, like every game produces a different challenge, right? I don't think that Newcastle is going to be playing that same sort of like high cavalier line that we saw from Liverpool. Give us space in behind. It's just a completely different game. So we have different issues that we have to solve. But on the day to come in and play against Liverpool and play so well, exploit the spaces, you know, take our chances, all of that. That's something to be commended. Now we have to, of course, find another way to unlock what's happening at Newcastle and find a way to win that game. But that's just another challenge on themselves.
Confidence,
one battle that we were able to find the result on at the right time of year for me. As far as like Cole Palmer goes, like, yeah, everything you guys said is bang on. For me, the issues that I had with him was not so much about like the movement and when I just thought like, and when he was not in form, he was just clutching at opportunities and making poor decisions in areas where he normally doesn't when the game's coming to him. Like he was just forcing the issue too much for me.
Yeah, yesterday it was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
As the game starts to you know, as that poor form starts to like snowball, it just gets worse and worse. The confidence drops and whatnot, right? So this was just an opportunity for him to like, you know, allow the game to come to him in a more natural way. We're playing again in a style that is more familiar to him. We're not looking to unlock a low block defense where the spaces are so compact, hard to exploit. It was a very free flowing game, and this is where he's at his best. So, like hopefully now, you know, again, just seeing the ball hit the back of the net is crucial for a guy like that. You know, to build the confidence, and then now, you know, maybe the game will just flow from him a little bit more naturally.
100%, bro. And listen, big up Alexis in the chat as well, because I want to share this right now, people. So, Jem, you can see our form in the last 9 games, right? We've actually got the best form in the league, joint with Man City. We've scored 14 goals, 5 losses during that. 5 goals conceded during that period as well. 9 goal difference. So if you actually talk about our form right now, it's not as bad as what people were trying to make it out, bro. I don't know if you saw the interview of that geezer outside Stamford Bridge the other day, you know, talking about it's been so bad. I would have taken a draw against Everton. It's been so bad. And I'm like, I know what you're trying to do, bro. Yeah, you wanted a draw so you can crash your Maresca. You didn't want a draw. You wanted to win that game, bro. You know what I mean?
Bro, you can't listen to them day drinking Donnies, bro. Like they don't.
No. Of course not. Of course not. They're the ones, bro. They're the enemies of progress, bro. You know what I'm saying? But right now, bro, what have you thought about, you know, our form recently? And do you think that we could actually go to Newcastle and get a result? I actually want to talk about the defense as well. But do you think we can go to Newcastle?
I think when you look at this season overall and you look at the moments where we have been poor, put that aside, actually, the moments when we've actually played quite well. What is the common rift that we've seen this season in regards to Chelsea and how we play? Confidence, scoring goals. You know, when we score goals, what happens? We just improve across the pitch. The defense, for example, you're now seeing and not conceding as many goals. You know, the balance, obviously having players back, important. Lavia, you know, Reece James, now hopefully he can stay fit. You know, but it's just for me, when I look at us as a team, when I've watched us this season, it's been more about where we're at in terms of the mentality. You know, what are we on the back of? What is it that we need to do next? And when I've seen us do well through that period that we did see where we were second in the league, it was because we were playing game after game with confidence, and you could see in the players' performances, people were making quick passes, quick decision makings. You know, you weren't seeing as many individual errors. And even when we did concede 1 or 2 goals, guess what? We're going to score 3, maybe 4, because we had that confidence in our attack, because, you know, they were all doing their bit. And this is where I'm kind of hoping going into Newcastle now, and obviously with the record that you've just shown there, that we can kind of now kick on for the next couple of games and just get the job done. And I don't care if we don't play well against Newcastle, by the way. If we win, the win is just the most important thing for me. But that will go on the record as another W and another, 7 wins and this, that, and the other. And it's just a confidence boost for them. We haven't got a great record at their ground as it is. We know that. We haven't got a great record against Man United, because even though we absolutely batter them, we just can't seem to score, and we end up drawing for whatever reasons, because certain individuals don't turn up. You know, and we know with Forest, all right, they might be in a little bit of a decline, but depending where they'll be at the end of the season, they might even still be fighting for a Champions League position. So that could be one hell of a UCL final in its own way to get top 5, you know. So we've just got to now use this momentum. I do think it comes to momentum with us. Use the momentum. The fans are another thing. And I couldn't really hear it in the Liverpool game, but people were telling me it was quite loud there. We need to get behind them. We need to get behind the players, and the players need to continue performing to this level. But defensively, I am quite impressed, to be quite honest with you, the last couple of games. They're doing what needs to be done. They're not making individual bozo moments. Even the guy in goals actually not doing so bad so far, So, yeah, man. We just hope and pray that this continues, going into this next
while
week.
Couch is gone, let's just say last 2 games, Sanchez, he's done his thing. We'll leave it there, but he's done his thing. No bozo moments, just, handle business.
That's the frustrating thing. I've always said this about
I heard that.
And I've got...
Hey, don't move on.
No shame.
No one said it. It's crap.
I've got no shame in saying this. I've got no shame in saying this because I've always said to you, man, yeah, with Sanchez, bro, if this guy had a normal brain like everyone else, he would actually be a good keeper because he's tall, right? He's a good cross collector. He's not a bad shot stopper either. I've seen this guy make some.
No, he's a really good shot stopper. He's a really good shot stopper.
Yeah, he's a good shot stopper as well. But it's just the bozo moments, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe this trim he's got now, maybe that's gonna help him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because the hair before it weren't really making sense.
Let's not go too far. Calma. Take a touch. Let it play out.
No, for the next team, bro. I don't want him. Yeah, I don't trust this guy, bro. Get rid of him still. But I'm just saying that he could honestly be a top keeper if his brain was switched on. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't got a brain, man. Let's not do this.
One game at a time. One game at a time.
I am not analysing Sanchez's brain. It's dangerous.
The last 2 games have been decent, right? And I'm not you guys are making it like I'm an apologist for him. I just said that real this kid Jorgensen hasn't shown me anything to displace what Sanchez is. They make the same mistakes, and that's just the bottom line. They're both not good enough for me. So if the manager trusts Sanchez to deliver during the run-in, then that's who he chooses to hitch his wagon to. So simple as that. There's nothing that I see in Sanchez. It's just like you said. I remember I said before, his eccentricity, if you play Football Manager, it's 30. When a good keeper, eccentricity is probably around 12, 13. You don't want them to be too wild. This guy's just through the roof, just through the roof, right? So
yeah.
It is what it is. But last 2 games he's done what he needed to do.
100%, bro. AJ, what have you thought about Chalobah and Colwell recently, bro? Like I said, Chalobah for me, I think he's been good the past few games. Colwell as well. People like to cut this guy talking about he's had a shit season, bro. When man's actually playing well, I don't really hear many people talk about it. They only want to crash it on him when he fucks up. What did you think about the centre back pairing there? Well, let's talk about the defense as a whole. Cucurella, Colwell, all these guys, bro.
I mean, I think Colwell divides opinion because he came in highly rated and he hasn't super lived up to that level. So I think that's why he gets cooked more. But it's clear that they formed a little bit of a partnership over the last 3-4 games or whatever it's been. I've always slightly rated Chalobah. I think he has a spot in the squad. Obviously he's not Champions League level, dominating, Premier League dominating type center back leader, alpha. But I think he can clearly have a role and an impact in the team. He can plug gaps. He's useful to the team. He also cares about Chelsea. He understands it. He has that experience. So to me, that's somebody that he should be in the squad. You need certain characteristics in the squad. Colwell, I'm not the biggest fan of Colwell, but I'm never going to deny that he has qualities that can be built on. But I still think his qualities will come out more when he's playing with somebody who we would consider them like an alpha dog or something like that.
Right.
So, what I really liked about Cole yesterday as well, AJ, right? Yesterday's performance reminded me of him at the start of the season when he was playing well.
Oh, here we go.
He was actually, bro, did you not see? Did you not see?
Back on it.
No, bro, it's true. It's true. Did you not see how he was actually ball carrying yesterday, bro? Man, ball carried the ball into the final third, and I'm like, yo, we don't have many centre backs that do this apart from Fofana, bro.
And then got tackled and lost the ball. Why was he at 3/4 of the way up the pitch, chasing the blimmin' I don't know, what was he doing? I was going, Colwell, get back.
That was part of the pressing structure, though. That was actually part of the structure. That was clearly part of the plan, which again you have to give credit to Maresca. But there were times where Colwell would actually step all the way high with the press, and that's why they weren't able to like. They weren't able to like pin us back as much. We played a lot off the ball, but they weren't like camping us in because we were actually able to like press high.
No, but there's only really two instances in that game. I think it was in the second half where he was pressing right up to their 18-yard box. I'm like, where's this guy going, man? Like, we're up 2-0, 2-1, whatever it was, and this guy is at the 18-yard box. You know,
if you only get that high if you're actually trying to press like 30 yards up. Obviously, you're not meant to go 60, 90 yards.
What ended up happening was he was pressing the ball and then carried on his run afterwards because once the ball got, I was like, where are you going, man? Like,
and he's that far up.
But my point is that he wouldn't even be doing that if he wasn't actually coming into the game with the idea of being aggressive. And that's what I liked a lot about his game because, again, Don's right. He was carrying the ball up the pitch, which was great. But off the ball, he was willing to like step into midfield and like win challenges and be aggressive on Jota when he dropped in. And I loved that about him. I thought it was a fantastic performance from Colwell. I thought it was.
There was only one moment where when he went that far up and. We didn't I think they went back to Allison, but he was standing there still. And I was like, why is this guy not going back? Right. They played it to the defense and he started chasing after it was with the ball. They've realized he's out of position. They just hoofed the ball out. And as soon as they hoofed the ball further up the pitch, you saw it was 3-on-3.
I remember the moment. And listen, him and Chalobah had some moment in a game where they weren't like, they had some like weird. I remember Chalobah had one kind of bad moment in the second half. And I thought, okay, we got lucky that he got away with it. Also, one first up when like because their game plan Liverpool was always to get wide, go back, and then the first time crossing behind because they know that we like to step our line to the 18-yard box and they can try and catch us out. And but we got caught one time with Chalobah in the first half with that. But again, other than that can happen against Liverpool when you have 30% possession of the ball, you're playing a lot off the ball, you're having to defend a lot. And how much have we talked about, guys, that in the second half of games we don't see it out, we don't know how to defend off the ball. Here we were for 90 minutes, most of it playing off the ball. And we were very good. We were very solid against Liverpool. We had like almost 3 XG. They had, I don't know what, I think maybe just about 1, I think, something like that. Like we defended very good off the ball. So you're going to have moments where Cole makes a bad mistake or Chalobah gets caught out. But over 96 minutes, they were quality, man. Like you have to give them their credit. And again, I was saying this about Chalobah for time that we should have brought this. He should never have left. Again, like AJ said, he was always somebody that should be a good squad player. And he can give you these moments where he plays good. He can play at a very good level. Is he, is he going to be John Terry levels or David Luiz levels? No. Carvalho levels? Hell no. But he can give you moments like this where he's actually able to perform and be part of a team that can actually go on pretty decent runs of form.
No, two things to what you just said there. Just two quick things. I thought the team defense was very good. Like we didn't really expose Chalobah and Colwell a lot. Like I thought the work that was done in front of them was really good. Yeah. But yeah, there were situations. I remember Chalobah made a fantastic challenge on Nunes. Yeah. In those situations where you need them to just put the hammer down and make the defensive play or clearance or something like that, they were good there. But I thought overall the team defense was very good. We were very organized, which is something I don't often see. Obviously, we can speak about Lavia and his role and all of that stuff, sure. But like team defense, I thought we were more switched on. And then to the point about like Chalobah being in the team and like all this, like we have to think about what he wants for his career too. Does this guy want to be a bit part player on a top team, or does he want to go out and actually play football, right? So I have no problem with him coming in and being a squad player for Chelsea. But I'm thinking like this guy has a more ambition, which is probably why they sent him on loan to go play in Crystal Palace to see if they can like coax an offer for him, right? Like it's more than just what we want. Like, yeah, he's fine as a squad player, but for his career, his trajectory, does he want to be a squad player right now? Does he want to play more football? I mean, I think he does. I think there are some players who are just happy to be a part of like a big team, which I think we are, and he's happy to. Again, this guy loves the club, bro. Him and his brother, they love the club. So I feel like he would be happy to just be here, but the club didn't want him. They wanted to sell him because they couldn't get money for the Sarsi last summer. So they thought, okay, we'll keep the Sarsi, we'll freeze you out, but. He didn't throw his toys out that pram. He played with the youth team, eventually got his loan call. But as soon as we came calling, he said, okay, I'll come back. Like, if you have sort of a different ambition to want to be a starter somewhere else, he wouldn't have come back. But he loves the club. Maybe he thinks he can play here, certainly while we haven't got top centre-backs. But I think even if we brought in top centre-backs, he'd be happy to be a third and fourth choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we're just talking from a fan's perspective, As a Chelsea fan, I would want Chalobah in the squad, Now, if he wants more... out of his career, which, you know, some players, they love the club. They might be getting what they want in the career. He came back, wasn't he? I wasn't following too much at Crystal Palace, you know, but why did he come back? Was he not getting, you know, the game time? Was he not?
No, he was playing there every week.
He was playing, man.
It's as simple as he got recalled. He got recalled.
So he came back just because he loves Chelsea. Then that's really what
he came back because we recalled him. It's as simple as that. Like, we recalled him.
We needed him.
Oh,
we needed him.
It's an obligation, yeah, but I feel like he just wants to play for Chelsea, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm hitting.
Yeah, it could be that, but like, let's just be real here. He was recalled and he had to come back. There's no mystery behind it. Like, here I am, right? He wanted to come back. Yeah, maybe he wanted to come back, but the club needed him to come back.
I agree.
We say that maybe players want more for their career. Maybe like, let's say Chalobah could go on, I don't know, lock down a place at flipping, I don't know, PSG or Dortmund. Maybe like that's a pretty high level, but obviously he went to Crystal Palace, right? And okay, I get it. They're actually in a cup final, but Crystal Palace don't get to cup finals often. Chelsea, we are gonna be competing at a pretty high level. We're gonna get to cup finals. We're gonna be in a cup final this year. Like, that's gonna be a regular thing. So even as a squad player, that can be more to you than being a starter at like a team that's mid-table in a top 5 league. So
I think they both got more. I think Colwell and Chalobah have both got bigger tests coming up. Isak is going to be a big one away for me. I need to see how they defend as a pair against one of the best strikers in the league. If one of them, you know,
have you caught them? The last 2 seasons we played Newcastle, our defense has been drunk.
This is what I'm saying. So this is why I'm waiting.
I swear, last year, bro, you might not forgetting, bro. Last year we went there straight after the international break. They smoked us 4-1, bro. They smoked
the cup, wasn't it? Cup game.
No, in the league. In the league last season, bro. Last season we played there 4-1. We got smoked.
No, this season we lost 4-5-1, didn't we?
Yeah, this year we lost. We lost in the cup.
I was in the cup. What was it? 3-1, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, and again,
in the Premier League game, if I recall correctly, that was one of our best games.
Yeah, we smoked them.
Yeah, this year at the bridge was good.
And it was with Lavia. I think Lavia was in that game.
Yeah,
he was, bro. You need Lavia for these sort of games, bro, because that midfield. I heard Joe Linton's out injured as well, bro. That's going to be advantage Chelsea right there. You know what I'm saying? But let me quickly read the super chat before we talk about Cucurella, because I don't want to leave him out, because I thought he was fucking brilliant yesterday. Big up Abs as well for this. Big yourself up, bro. It says large up the man them. This game showed that we badly need some quality. We ain't a million miles off, but there's still a gap to close, bro. We've spoken about it many times on this channel, man. We know the areas that we need to improve, 110%. But listen, what did you think of Cucurella's performance, Ads, man? Because you're someone that, again, me and you used to go back and forth about him. I was saying I'm not writing this guy off. I saw what I was seeing at Brighton from this guy. And we need this guy, bro. He's one of the first names on the team sheet for me. He's been the second best player after Caicedo for me this season. And he absolutely cooked his face.
Look at his face.
You know what I'm saying? He cooked Salah.
Listen, it's funny. Every time Cucurella has a good game, and he's had a lot this season, man comes back to me and is like, you know what I mean? As I've talked about him a lot, you know, you wanted him out, basically. I've always wanted Cucurella, and it's like, come on, I've been doing enough talking the last 5 minutes. Let somebody else talk to them. But if you really want to hear my opinion, again, you have to have the context that when we signed Cucurella, I was a big fan of the signing. I rated him. I was like, yeah, we took him off the City, this, that, and the third. Like, I was happy. Then I was extremely disappointed because of how badly he was performing. Again, this is a similar story to another player that we signed for big money, Ukrainian. I won't say any more on that player, right? He let me down. I felt let down. But then now he's turned it around. And obviously winning the Euros for Spain was a big confidence booster for him. And he looked fitter, he looked faster this season. And he's doing well. And listen, I feel like even from the end of last season when he was playing in that inverted role, I thought he just found a role in the team that suited him. Maresca's found a role that suited him in this system as well. And he's been doing very good. And listen, I wasn't surprised that he locked up Salah. That did not surprise me at all. He had a very good game. And I listen, that's what Cucurella's been doing this season. So it's not really a surprise.
Adds his focus is not anymore on Cucurella, it's on Pedro Neto, guys. That's
we're going to speak about Neto as well. Everyone right now, listen.
Do we need to?
No, we will. We will talk about.
You're going to get cooked on this one. He's got a stat for you, bro.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Noni as well. But I want to talk about Maresca real quick as well. Yeah, because I can't lie, man. Them right. I'm looking at our goals conceded right now again. Yeah, we're joint third best defense in the league right now with Nottingham Forest, with the centre backs that we've got, with the goalkeeper that we've got, right? And if you go look at last season, what Maresca did with Leicester, right? They conceded the least amount of goals. So structurally, bro, defensively, the main reason why we're like this right now, you can argue Caicedo helps us and whatnot, but structurally, bro, Maresca has improved our defense massively because last season, our defense gem, we used to get run through that midfield, bro. The midfield we used to just run through. Let's call it Poch's Island. Let's call it Poch's Island, bro. You know what I mean? Maresca, what have you thought about what he's kind of brought to this team, bro? Man.
This is why I don't get these Pochinas still weirdos. Oh, but we're on the same points as we were last year. Maresca ain't doing as that good, is he? As what Poch did. We conceded like 19 less goals, isn't it? Or 18 less goals than Poch at this point last season. That's a lot of goals, man. That's a lot of goals. Going back to your question, what did you say on Maresca?
I said about the structure, like what he's kind of brought into the team, because there's still people that want him out, but he's improved our team, bro. He's actually improved our team.
It has. I think with Maresca and what he's trying to do, I think it needs a specific type of profiles. And again, we spoke about Cucurella just now. I think the reason you're seeing a better Cucurella is because this type of system suits what we're doing, which is just very aggressive, carries the ball well in your face, get the ball quick, move it quickly, Fofana's another one, even though he's injured again, he was another one that was thriving in this system, It's been good. It's been okay. Is what I would say. I think it could be better, probably with the right, again, an additional profile in it that can bring the abilities to the system and give us a bit more confidence at the back throughout a consistent period, which is what I want, because even though we've still seen good performances with Chalobah and Koa and whatever, we know how inconsistent they can be even in this system. So yeah, it's good. I just think we could still improve on it. Whether we're going to look at it in the window is a question mark,
Yeah. 100%. Can I come off the back of that real quick? Because I think
go.
Because really, we're talking about I hate the comparisons between last year and this year. I think there's so much context that's not brought into it. Let's be real. We had a lot of injuries last year. A lot.
But why though? Why?
It doesn't matter why. We had a lot of injuries.
No. It does matter why. It does.
Okay, so Lavia was injured because of what? Why was Lavia?
No, why do you run straight away to the injury-prone player?
Why?
He was doing 8-mile sprints in training. That's why.
You know what I mean?
He's an important piece, though, right? He's an
important piece. What about Neto? Neto's been fit all season. Why?
Can I speak? Am I
go
allowed to finish my point? Okay.
Yeah.
Go. It feels like you guys are very much wedded to this idea that performances this year are only down to the manager. It's not down to the manager. It's down to the fitness of the club. It's down to players that we did not have available last year. The squad is better this year. The squad is better this year. So regardless of what you think about Poch and what you think about Maresca, yes, the squad is better this year. So we expect better performances. Aside from that, I can say that Maresca has done a good job of basically instilling his possession-based style. But like we were talking about with Jimmy a couple weeks ago, this idea that we're a better defensive outfit is not. There's some context to that too, because when we get into positions where we have to defend 1v1, we're still very poor. When we get into positions where we have to defend the back post, we're still very poor. All of these actions still come up in games. It's just now, because we're a better possession-based team and we can control the game a little bit more, we're not putting ourselves into those positions oftentimes over and over and over again. Whereas under Poch, we were very much see through in the middle. We'd just be going up and down the pitch.
We were stuck into one system, right? Couch. The difference with Maresca is he's versatile in his systems. He gives us a bit of an adaptability to try and hide our weaknesses, which is the difference.
But that still just comes down to, again, the availability of the players that we have, right? Okay, and the system, right? And then also, when you. I don't want to speak too much on Poch because you guys already know I didn't want him last year. I didn't think that he was the reason why we were poor last year. I didn't want him though, and I'm actually one that was an advocate, and I wanted to see Maresca because I liked what he did at Leicester. I was watching what he was doing, and I was this guy can come and provide us with some balance. So I don't want to crash on it too heavily, but I will say this though: the quality of the squad is way better than it was last year. Quality of the squad.
But Couch, the thing is though, I get what you're saying, right? But end of the day, for me, if you go look at Maresca's injury, the track record in terms of the injury, right? This is something that I spoke about to you lot when we hired this guy. I said, bro, if you go check his injury record, he managed to keep Ricardo Pereira fit basically all season after coming back from a mad injury, right? You're always going to have players in the squad that it doesn't matter what manager you've got. It doesn't matter if you've got Jesus, Buddha, Allah, all these gods that come together. Certain man can't be saved because they're just that injury prone, right? But I'm looking at the likes of Neto. Neto, before he came to Chelsea, I didn't want this guy because I had PTSD. I'm like, this guy's barely ever fit. He'll come Chelsea, he'll break down, right?
Okay.
So hold on. Let me finish my point. He's had like 2 knocks since the whole time since he's been here, right? We were playing him 1 game a week at the start of the season to manage his minutes. You've got Reece. This is the longest time with Reece. We've seen Reece staying fit. You've got Nkuku. The club, for me, the club are lying right now about him being injured. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just done, right? But he's been basically fit pretty much all season. Yeah. When do you ever really hear of players getting injured in training away from Lavia and away from Reece? It's mainly those 2 that get injured in training. Everyone else, it's been in game. It's been in game, right? So if you actually go break it down, even with Slot, for example, I spoke to Roms about this. Slot and Liverpool, they've had lesser injuries because that style of play isn't like Klopp. It's not rock and roll football. So their players aren't constantly working their muscles, right? This football we've been playing, it might be boring to people, but it's actually saved a lot of these players because it's not constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, bro. This is the Prem, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not just me just saying this because I didn't like this guy.
He manages it better, yeah.
Maresca's managed the team better, and that's why you're seeing less injuries, bro. You know what I mean?
Again, if you have better players available to you, you're gonna have better results. That's the bottom line. It's just that simple.
But you keep ignoring the fact that his style of play.
I don't want to speak on Pochettino. I understand what you're saying. I get it. But when you have better players available to you, you have better results. That's the bottom line. Fofana wasn't injured. Fofana wasn't even available last year. At no point.
You're missing the point. Because
I'm not
even
missing your point.
If we had Poch this season, I promise you, if we had Poch this season, you'd be seeing that stupid message you used to see before games. Oh, was it undergoing rehabilitation? There's like fucking 6-7 people on the list undergoing rehabilitation every single week, AJ. You know what I mean? That's not a coincidence, bro. That is not a coincidence, bro.
So like Vasterot? What was that guy? Vasterot TV or whatever his name is. He's saying Maresca's keeping the players fit. Sure.
The medical team.
You can see that every sense.
I don't think that it's just down to like fitness. I think that and fitness is not just down to the manager. Well, you can say that, but like we have a new medical department that understand how to keep players fit as well. Like when I was talking last year about players coming back and then going out injured again, like that to me was an indictable offense for the last 2 seasons before Maresca got here. Those are things that were happening before Pochettino got in. We had players come in and get injured and come back, and so for me, it was like the medical department needed more scrutiny than in the past. Because I remember under Graham Potter, guys getting injured, coming back, getting injured again, coming back. That was the exact same thing. So yes, you're not wrong in saying that Maresca's done a better job of keeping players fit with his style of play. But at the same time, it's the medical department that's improved. We got a new medical staff as well.
I agree with that too. But that's where you have to give praise to Clearlake. That's where you have to give praise to Clearlake because they're the ones that decided to change the whole medical team. You're so spot on when you say that, Couch, right? Because people think these guys haven't done good things. They brought in a set piece coach. I know, Jem, we want to see more goals from corners and whatnot. I think that will change when we start to bring a little bit more height to the back, right? We need that. We need people that can attack the box, I agree. From corners, right? But when you talk about set pieces conceded, bro, Arsenal right now have conceded the most set pieces. Chelsea aren't even in the top 5. We've conceded 2 corners this season in the Prem, right? We conceded 3 actually now. We conceded 1 against Wolves, where Sanchez threw it into the back of the net. We conceded 1 against Arsenal, where Marino did that little flick back, right? And we conceded another one against Liverpool. They're the only 3 corners we've conceded this season.
And that was poor.
And that is down to the set piece coach that has come in because last year every corner was like a penalty against Chelsea, bro. Every time we would concede a corner, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go, Jem.
We zone mark. What we do now is we zone mark because if you watch how we defend corners. Look, Van Dijk, I don't know how he had the space he did yesterday for that goal. That was just poor defending overall. It just didn't work. But there's a lot of zone marking now. So all of their biggest centre-backs that come up the pitch, it doesn't matter who we're playing, we put our smaller players on them, for, higher up in the box, and we ask all of our biggest players to either stand at the front or stand sort of in the middle of the penalty box. And as soon as the ball comes in, it's just bang. And yes, it's worked. Don't get me wrong. We were awful. I think it was last year, the year before, when it came to corners, defending corners, man, we were leaking goals for fun, man. Absolutely ridiculous. It was atrocious. Some of the goals we were conceding. So we probably listen. There's a lot of. I agree with Couch. I think in terms of the medical element of it, we've definitely improved there. We've got a better team there. I think we also have a better manager because he's managing the players better as well that are coming back. He's just not throwing them in and saying, "Come on, I need you. You got to play this game," which is another big difference in it as well. And we've got a bigger squad. We've got a bigger squad. There's a lot
and keep in mind, like when you say that, like decisions made about who comes back into the lineup, who trains, what level of fitness he has, that's down to the medical staff, right? They dictate what a player can, what kind of rigors and what kind of like certain player comes back into the squad. Like the manager doesn't have any control over that, none whatsoever. So.
Last year the medical team told Poch, Lavia's not ready, bro. He brought him on against Palace. My man got written off for the whole season. You know what I mean? So he actually
was playing up front last season. Do you remember? Last season, I think Jackson got injured again, if you remember.
It was Broja and then Palmer.
My God, it was so bad. I think Broja, that was it. Broja came back from a bad injury. And then he just got back. And what did Poch do? Straight away, you're in the team. My man's not even had like 20 minutes on the pitch or 10 minutes on the pitch. He was just thrown straight back into the team. Different mentality, how to manage.
That's true. It's a good point.
Bro, Couch, I think you're forgetting when they asked him about the injuries and that in the presser, and he got angry. They were like, there's things going around that your style of play and the training methods, what's going on with the injuries, and he just got mad angry, bro. You know what I mean? He took mad offense to it, and I'm like, this is a man that's.
What did he say?
I can't remember what he said, man, because this guy used to talk a lot of shit.
Well, that's an important thing.
He was talking about building. No, the point, the overarching point is that he wasn't happy with the question that he was being asked. He was basically being asked, "Are you basically affecting the injuries in this team?" Yeah. And he was not having it. He was not having it. You know what I mean? He was not having it, bro.
He knew he was wrong.
You know what I'm saying? But
I really need to know what he said, because if they're pinning the injuries on him and he's fighting back for that because he has a medical staff that tells him when players are fit and not, then I can understand why he's like, why am I taking the blame for this?
Bro, ex-players, even from Southampton.
I remember you saying this,
running. He used to just make these guys run, guard contest every day, bleed test every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you went to school in the UK, man, them know about bleed test. When the teacher tells you in PE, it's bleed test time, you're just not on it. Yeah, it's cross country time. You're not on it. These men had to do that every single day, bro. You might not forgetting Caicedo. Caicedo had to bring his own tactical coach because he wasn't being coached.
Okay, yeah? Are we still on Poch right now?
No, we're moving. We've got to talk about Leroy Noni, man. Come on, Leroy Noni.
Let's talk about.
I want to ask you the question. I want to ask you, Don. Let me flip it on you and ask you this question, because you've been. Was it you? It might not have been you. It might have been Ads actually. Someone was asking for Madueke to be continuously played on the right, even when Neto was out there. Like, we need to get Neto on the Madueke on the right, but don't want to see him on the left. What I see of Noni on the left is much better than what I've seen of Neto on the left. Can we all agree on that? In terms of what he does with the ball, ability, So, do we not think, because we know Sancho can't play every game, do we not think moving forward, just playing him off the left and Neto off the right, I'm just using that? Because what I've seen from Noni is the ability to be able to carry the ball, dribble, to go past people in left, right, attack the box very well. He also helps Neto, and this is what people don't realise as well. When Neto gets the ball on the right and he cuts back and he does them balls in the box, and Jackson's usually just toddling along in the box, like waiting to go in. Having Madueke arriving at the back post with his height and threat is a big plus for us. People don't realise it. It gives us something in the back post as well. So, what are your thoughts of him on the left? Is it something in the future that we now look at him as a left-hand side player, or do you still feel that he needs to be on the right moving forward? Is what I'm trying to understand.
I'll let you take that, AJ. Go on, AJ.
I mean, I think, when you find something that's working, you just got to run with it, So I think he's going to be on the left for the foreseeable future. That doesn't mean you're not going to see him on the right. I think, did he start this game on the right and then they switched?
Nah,
Is that what happened?
No,
He started. So there you go. You see,
Mhm.
once you come up on a formula, you stick with it, and you, like you said, he's more efficient with the ball. I think he's more working on instinct instead of thinking a little bit too much. His execution is a little bit better. His link up is, I just think it just benefits, him way more than, when you cut in, now you have, a ton of options. You either going to pass it back, you're going to find your midfielder, you're going to try to beat your man, you're going to get a shot off. Whereas on the left, the options are a little bit more limited. So it's less for him to choose from. And I think that works for some players. They don't need to think too much. They just need to do. And I think that's what's working for him. So, I hope it works. And I even back last year when we had Sterling, we had other players, I'm like, sometimes you got to just get these players on their favorite foot and just reduce the amount of options that they have and let them play off instinct. So I think this is something that we got to run with. Neto, I've always been a fan of Neto. I just think he was underwhelming us those first 6 months. It was clear to see. There's nobody could argue that. He had the characteristics, but he wasn't getting the job done. But now, I think, Jem, you said it earlier, confidence is a hell of a thing. He's playing confident. He's beating his man. He's getting the his crosses are a little bit more accurate. Like that ball to Enzo. I don't know if he picked out Enzo specifically, but it was a good ball for somebody to deal with. You understand? Yeah. Like somebody who could get that ball, they could deal with that. It wasn't overhit. It wasn't too high. It was just a good ball, and Enzo dealt with it perfectly. So I think, just like last year, we ended up coming into form, at the end of the season. I think that's just what's happening. And Maresca has found a little formula. So
the balance is better, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, 100%, bro. If you go look here as well, man's in the 97th percentile for progressive carries, bro. 95th percentile for successful dribbles. 95th percentile for attacking actions. Those numbers are not a joke, bro. They're not a joke because I'm telling you, bro. If this guy was doing these things for another club, this is sort of winger that people be saying bring to Chelsea, bro. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, they want to just give up on this guy. And I'm like, you lot, bro, why have you not got any patience? Do you think football has just become, world class overnight or something? Like you have to see the journey. And a lot of guys don't want to see the journey. They just want to bring these guys that are, sort of ready now. I hear that. You want to bring guys that are ready now, and so do I. But guys like Noni, bro, they're good to have in the team, bro. Very good players to have in the squad. You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams right now in the Prem will happily take this guy as a squad player, or they'll take him to start, bro. Newcastle will take this guy to start. You know what I mean? They'll take him to start.
Anybody who's, because Noni was one of those players who was getting a lot of hate, especially early in the season. A lot of Noni haters, even in the chat right now. But I think if you just disregarding what he's bringing to the team, if you just don't rate him, I think it's things outside of football. I think that's really why you don't rate him. So
I think he was I think it was slightly criminal yesterday when he got the ball. It doesn't matter if he's on the right or left for me. He does this a lot anyway, but he gets the ball in the final third, and Enzo was through, man. All he had to do was just pass it, and he could have had a second, and he just held it. And it was just a space to pass, man.
I just think
for him.
Yeah, like I've been saying for the longest time, the trouble that people have with Noni is first his decision making, and second just his body language. Like he makes you feel like he thinks he's better than he actually is. You know what I mean? And like if he just humbled himself a little bit, I think that he would endear himself to people a lot more. But ultimately, the decision making part of things that comes later. Like he's too young to be worried about like him making poor decisions. Like he gets into great areas all the time. He's a very good dribbler, like as we can see, and his finishing is not terrible. So yeah, he has value. Like I don't want to sell a guy like that when we've actually been going through the growing pains with him, like the last 2-3 years or 2 years or whatever. Yeah. Like don't prepare him for somebody else now.
Yeah.
Like, let's just wait and see what happens. Like he has all the tools. Now it's just about the mental game. Can he get that together? If he can get that together, then we got a player, man.
What
And
was
he's
that
shown
like?
that he's improving. He's shown that he's improving.
Yeah.
So why would we just let go of that right now? You know, it doesn't make sense.
100%, bro. And bring up Ibrahim for this. I want to go to ads for this one. He says, Don, I want to ask, how does Noni left wing affect our transfer window? Sancho and Noni are better than Williams and Gittins. What do you think that's going to do for the window ads, man? Like, you know, because obviously we're looking at Gittins right now. We're looking at Williams as well. You know, Sancho, we don't know if he's going to sign permanently, but for me, I'll take this guy as a squad player. I'll be so real. 25 million over 14 GA right now. Even yesterday when he came on, bro, he tried to be smart, but he could have scored. He could have actually scored, bro. Alisson made a good save. You know what I'm saying? What do you think of this? What did you think of this, bro?
I mean, that's an interesting question, which I'll get onto. But again, I was just sitting there quietly thinking that, you know, you would return the favor and remind me of something that I said in the past, which was Noni left wing. I was saying this for time now. Why don't we try Noni left wing? Again, I've seen him do it at PSV. Again, I see PSG be a team that switch their wingers constantly. Why can't we do that when Noni was playing good on the right wing? Why can't he go and switch to the left? And I was like, okay, let's just see Noni play left anyways, because Neto on the left stank. Then Neto in general for me has been quite stinky. Recently, again, he's been good. If you want to talk about yesterday, we can talk about that. But again, focusing on Leroy Noni or Gareth Noni, however you want to talk about this guy in left wing. But listen, he was serious, bro. Again, 4 dribbles complete. It was ripping up Trent, and whoever got near him, he was ripping them up. Almost got a quality goal when he combined with Cuckoo. The second goal, you have to credit the movement, because we've been saying this for ages that our opposite winger, they don't know at the time they run to be able to get there for tap-ins. Noni did that, and he got there. He got the shot on goal. Endo made a great block, and obviously Van Dijk hits off Kwanzaa. What happened in it? But again, he was doing a lot of quality things, and I get it. Jem's right to bring up the Enzo pass, right? Like, that was a really bad mistake that he made, and we know that in general, Noni's passing is not the level of like a Sancho. Like, his passing in terms of like in the final third making the right decision, it isn't there. But I accept that, because I understand what kind of winger he is. He's more of the 1v1 demon kind of winger, where he's good at going 1v1, being dynamic, being expressive, and making things happen. And he done that again, and it was quality. And I remember we talked about his game against Everton, and you said you didn't like him with left wing. And yeah, he wasn't perfect, but again, that was his first time left wing for ages. And he still had 2 great shots that could have been goals. And again, this game, quality. So again, Noni left wing, I love it. I loved it. Again, I wish you gave me my credit, Don. You didn't give me my his credit for bringing it up, but I wanted to say it for time. He's doing it, and he's rolling.
No, you were right, bro. Because I remember when he came on.
Wait, say that again. Say that again. You were lagging, bro. Say that again.
I ain't saying it again, bro. You should have heard it the first time, bro. You know what I mean? But bro, you know what it is? When he came, I remember when he came on left wing against Ipswich when we lost that game away, yeah. And bro, that game, he just looked lost. Against Everton, there was certain parts that I liked, but the thing that I didn't like, I felt like he wasn't really involved in the game. But that wasn't so much him. That was more, we weren't really going to him in it. The ball was mainly going to the right-hand side and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So that was the main thing for me in it. But in this game, bro, he was cooking, man. Like, in the tight areas, you're seeing this guy like so good, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get the ball off of him. And I honestly feel like on the left-hand side, we're gonna start to win more penalties because he'll be attacking the box a lot more.
Yes,
he just looks more confident. He looks more comfortable on that side. It's weird. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, AJ?
No, I agree, and I think we all said it. I think it just simplifies his game, like we said. You know, he's just direct. It makes him more direct. You know, he's already a direct player. It just makes him more direct because he's on his stronger side.
No, let me answer the question that was brought up in the chat, right? But funny, you know, that's funny. But no, listen, does Noni play in left wing? Let's say he actually finished the season in good form in left wing, like he did last season, right? He ended the season in great form. If he does that again, and our left wing options for next season are Noni and Sancho, am I happy with that? Because when I look at the right, and it'll be Neto, and I'm not really happy with Neto. You might know that. Again, he was decent yesterday. When he simplifies his game, and it's just about running in behind and getting cutbacks and crosses.
I think you're harsh, man. I'm calling you out.
Yeah, man.
You can say I'm harsh, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm not really vibing with Neto. Again, yesterday he was good, and I love his work rate. That those things are great. And when he simplifies his game, and it's just about running in behind and cutting it back, that's cool. Obviously, you can do that in big games where there's space. Against low blocks, especially without a striker, you know, it's not great. So we have to see what next season. So again, right wing, there's only Neto. Obviously, we've got Esteval who can maybe come in. I don't know if we're confirmed to bring him into the first team. I don't know if that's confirmed.
That's been confirmed. That's been confirmed, bro. He's not going on loan. Paez is the one that will probably go Strasbourg. Paez
should definitely needs another loan somewhere else. But I would still want somebody else. Maybe somebody who can play up front, but you can also play on the wing, as well as a proper number 9. Because I feel like we still like a certain profile at wide who can actually be a goal scorer. None of these wingers that we have are like actual goal scorers. They're more just creative.
That's what Noni is. Noni's a goal scoring winger, really. If you look at him, like when I look at the goal scoring wingers in our team, it's Noni, and people don't want to hear this, but it's Noni and Mudryk. It's Noni and Mudryk, bro.
No, it's not. It's Noni and Esteval, man. Noni and Esteval.
Man scored more goals. Bro, man actually scored 5 goals last season. It was minimal game time.
You said 5 goals.
Listen. I'm not gonna take the bait, or we'll leave him to one side. Your point about Noni, I hear you. Noni can be a goal scoring winger, but I was talking more of like in a sense that I want somebody who's like a bit of a striker, but can also play out wide. Just that kind of profile, right?
I can't do it.
And I feel like in our squad we could do with that because we're gonna buy a number 9, proper number 9, which is gonna be good. I think we should get a second number 9 who can also play off the wing, so that way we have good options elsewhere. Because we're gonna get rid of Nkunku, obviously. So that's what I want personally. That's what I want personally. Again, we're gonna lose the Ukrainian as well. He's gone. Like, we know that he's not coming back.
Yes, he is.
I want to to this guy, yeah, because right now there's no winger that has more accurate crosses than Neto in the Prem this season.
Yes,
right. And we've all crashed it on him, so this ain't even a thing where it's like, we're just backing him because he plays for Chelsea. I've crashed this guy. I've literally told you, man. Start of the season, I saw more from Mudryk than what I saw from Neto, right? But I can't lie, bro. 2025 this year, I would say, for me, he's actually picked it up. You know, he's picked it up. He's picked it up. Like, you know, he's actually been against Everton.
My point being with Neto, the thing with Neto, and I'll just say it like this: I think it's a little bit harsh, Ads, when he talks about Neto. Personally, I get I get his frustrations, and I understand what parts of his game annoy him, and I get where he comes from it. But you put a striker up front, bro, that can, you know, make the right movements in the box when you've got a player like Neto who you know is going to do the one thing that he's good at doing, which is get the ball and use his burst of speed to get around someone and make that pass. You know, if man's doing 47 accurate crosses in the box and you've got Jackson just toddling in and they're just going over his head and the goalkeepers are catching them, yeah, they look really bad. But a lot of these crosses that Neto may be putting in are actually good opportunities. And my thing with Neto is that with a striker around him, he offers something. He has the ability to be able to create. And this is the thing why I wanted him at the beginning, because his final third distribution is actually good. He's probably the best in our team in terms of wingers. He has the ability to get past and then make the right pass. And like yesterday, when he found Enzo Fernandez, all right, he didn't see him come into the box, but that pass that he made was the right pass. It wasn't near Alisson. It was in between the defense and the midfield, that little space. He played it straight in between that. He has the ability to know when to release the ball in the final third at the right time. And I just think his assist levels would be better if we had someone up front that had the right understanding of the striker role in the box. Personally,
I'm not gonna again. Like I think Neto's a fine player. He's got something to add to this team, but I think his decision making sometimes is a little off. Like, yeah, we're talking about the accurate crosses into the box, but you have to identify who you have in the box, right? So if you have a guy that can attack it aerially and you're swinging crosses into Jackson, you're swinging crosses into the Madueke, like that to me is poor decision making.
That's his job.
That's
a guy for doing his job.
Yeah, you're missing the point. You're missing the point of what I'm saying, though. It's not about just swinging in crosses to players that can't attack the ball. Like you have to identify who you have on the pitch and use your skill set to better suit them. And he's not done that a lot this year. It's like, oh yeah, great cross. If we had a guy that could attack the aerial duel, then we would have scored there. Yeah, but we don't. So why are you swinging in crosses like that?
I hear the sentiment. I hear the sentiment, but I still think Jem's point is stronger because we already know that we need that striker, right? Couch, you want to go into next season getting a striker. Everybody wants to go into and we all want that striker that has presence in the box to deal with those type of deliveries. So, you know, and I'm not saying that you're saying get rid of Neto, but Neto clearly has a place in the team. There's no argument.
Oh, without doubt.
And on top of that, one thing that we don't see enough from Neto, and I think is more of a system thing, is we don't see his ball striking ability. He's a very good shooter of the ball, and we don't get him in the spots to get those goals, you know, enough. I think hopefully the next ilk of our system starts getting these players more into those situations. And again, Neto, this is his first time at like a big club, you know, it's a step up. You know, you got to give players a year and a half to even get into that big club bag, and you know what you got to do, you know how to handle it. So I think everybody's point is valid, but I do think if we're looking at the team going forward, Neto has a spot, Noni has a spot.
100%.
For sure.
I think I get what Jim's saying. I get what Jim's saying. There's a lot of good balls that he puts in that don't get attacked because we haven't got that profile. But at the same time, I would like Neto to cut it back more often than what he did yesterday. And that's the thing that's the point that Couch is making. And I've spoken about it with you players. I've said, bro, like this team for me, crossing it in the air, low it, bro, low it. Like I want to see it on the floor. Whip it across the box on the floor and make man at the back post, make them late runs. You know what I mean? Like Jackson, whatever. Everyone crash the box. They're the
Jackson
sort of goals they're the sort of goals that this team's built to do. Look at the goal that Neto scored. You know what I mean? Look at the goal that Neto scored against Fulham. It was Enzo cutting it back. The goal that Enzo scored yesterday, it was Neto cutting it back. It wasn't in the air. You know, so I get what both of you saying. You both made some.
We play with 10 men too much. That's the issue with Jackson up front sometimes. And yes, he's done these little bits with like the goal the other game and stuff like that. But there's too many times in games where I look at Jackson and we get into these really good moments. We get out of the pitch well. You know, they get the right passes. Palmer's playing them nice little passes in behind. You know, Enzo's going to crash the box, whatever. And Jackson's just like, let me just toddle into the box, you know. Like defenders just watching him like this. Yeah, he's not got this like, right, let me beat him. I'm going to go front post. I'm going to drag him out. I'm going to drag him out the way, and I'm going to allow Enzo the space or whoever else is behind me to attack the space that I was in. He hasn't got that brain, and that's not help our attacks. I don't care what anyone says. And yesterday, he really frustrated me. I'm not going to lie. I haven't really spoke about him too much today, but he pissed me off yesterday quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I think everybody agrees. I thought Jackson was quite shocking. But again, I started the show by saying that he was shocking, but you can give him a blind because firstly, we won. Last week, he won us the game. They scored 2 midweek. So, like, strikers can have those kind of games. I saw Diego Costa be amazing for a large part of it. Oh, of course, and he's nowhere near Diego Costa. I'm saying that, again, I could talk about Diego Costa and say that I've seen him drop stinkers, but they follow up by playing well. And obviously playing well the week before, so I gave him that blind. Again, with Jackson, it's for a long time, I've kind of like stopped cussing him. I cuss the board. I cuss the people that made him our number one and only striker. That's the people that I'm cussing. I'm not going to cuss Jackson because he doesn't have the experience for the job that he's in. He just hasn't got the job experience. So it is what it is. But back to Neto again. Again, I agree with a lot of what's been said. I disagree with some. And I hear what you're saying, Jem, right? Like, again, we know he's a specialist crosser, but when you say that's his one great thing, which it is his one great thing is his crossing, and also, I guess, his weaponizing of pace, cool. But you need to have more variation. I feel like that's what Dom was saying. I feel that's what we all want from our wingers. We want to have more variation to how you can crack an egg. Again, it can't just be one way that you know how to make things happen on the pitch. Find different things, find different avenues. And for Neto, I hate how one-dimensional we've been. I hate how one-dimensional he's been, and also the fact that he's lacked the ability to like take on guys 1v1 and make things happen. Obviously, in transition, we know that he can run at pace and put in a first-time ball or a cutback, and we know he can do that. But where's the dribbling ability? Again, we saw Noni on the left have 4 dribbles. Neto has rarely ever had more than 2 dribbles in a single game.
It's gonna come with time. Like I understand where you holding him, and I agree with you because 80% of the games that we play, we're gonna be playing against a set defense. You know, yesterday we just played against Liverpool, who is a strong team, so they're gonna play their game. So Neto does have to show that side that can he, you know, in a settled defense, can he make his own space and, you know, find his teammates, link up with his players, get his shots off, get his combinations off, deal with all of that. I agree with that, but that's going to come with time. And I think Neto and Noni are the guys. I want you to pull back up that list that you had, Don, because I think we might need to look for a player on that list. That's the type of play, you know, we need to look for another winger because, like you said, Mudryk is probably not going to be part of the squad. We don't know what's happening with Sancho. This is a list that, you know, of potential players that could be on that could, you know, Chelsea could buy. And I like, you know, players like Kudus, you know,
Traore.
Who else?
Traore's
Waymo's there as well, but
no, we ain't going for Adama.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, the only left winger really there that I would take is Gordon. That's it.
Yeah.
I do think it also falls down to. Go on.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it does. Just going back to what Ads was saying on the back of like wanting our wingers to do a bit more in moments. I do think it also falls down just to the pure ability of the wingers we have, because the one thing we can, I'm sure we can all agree on, is that wingers are specialists in specific things. They're not really all-rounded anymore. You know, you're not like an Eden Hazard where they can do.
Oh no.
everything.
You wait and see Esteval. You wait and see Esteval.
Yeah, well, Esteval maybe, but he's a special kind of type of player. But my point being is, you know, when we play games away, like when we lost to Brighton, for example, and we wanted direct wingers, that's when you wanted Neto and Madueke. But then when you're at home and you're playing a team that's in a low block and there's not that much space, I'd like to have a technician in there, which is like, in my opinion, is like a Sancho who's got the ability to get the ball and make, you know, pass the ball into a tight space, make the runs. And I just think it's about finding the ability of the winger that we need to be able to do that. And I think Sancho's different from Madueke and Neto. I actually think Madueke's different from Neto now from what I've seen against Liverpool, because he's just shown me he's got a driven ability of, you know, that I didn't think. I knew he was good at beating players and he had that ability, but seeing it on the left was a little bit different to what we've seen on the right, in my opinion.
The thing about Neto, bro, he has that in his locker because he literally did it against Everton. I saw this guy run past.
He don't do step overs, though. He's not going to Hazard. Let me do. He's
got the pace. He's got the strength. He knows how to do step overs. Like Neto knows how to run past people. The issue that I've had with him, like as he's saying, is the variety hasn't been there in his game because he's been looking just across. And he spoke about it himself. That's where patience comes into it, right? Because he said, bro, like when I was at Wolves, it was more transitional play. Here I'm facing low blocks. I'm still getting used to it. But we're in an era right now where it's like you don't want to give these players any time. They just have to be ready now, and everything has to be ready now. Even for these guys, bro, when you talk about Nico Williams and that, there's going to be certain things you see in his game where you're like, oh, he needs to improve on this. But they won't talk about it because they don't watch him week in, week out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what? They're also not deep in that we're buying players that, I mean, I know Neto's been in the league for a bit, but we're buying players that are 21, 22, 19. So these players are not going to have that full package, you know. It's gonna it takes till you get to 25, 26 where you see the full package of the player. So
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly why I'm harsh on Neto. And again, just for clarity, I do think next season he's going to be better. With a number 9, he will be better. I gotta hope so, because he spent a lot of money on the guy. But again, why I'm harsh on him is because he was Premier League proven. He literally is that age. He is 25 going on 26, so he should be in his prime. I mean, this first season isn't good enough, but again, second season he should be better. I'm expecting him to be better. And hopefully, again, with a number 9, we see more our end product, because again, the product that we've seen so far this season is not enough. The GA is not enough. The performances aren't enough. But again, I wanted to give him a first season and see how he does next year, because a lot of players can improve with a second season at a big club.
Wait, Mazda said Neto's weak. No, there's no way. There's no way. Hold on, Couch. There's no way that Neto's weak. I don't know what you're watching. Neto's not weak.
No, he's stocky. He's got like a Sanchez kind of build, like Alexis Sanchez kind of build.
I saw that guy. I was at the game against Fulham, when he scored that last minute goal. He came to us after. Man took off his top, That guy is wham, bro.
He's a powerful. You're gonna start in his running. Like, he's a powerful runner too. But
he's a unit.
Yeah,
but like a small guy, he's a unit.
Yeah, but like no, I guess I was just kind of come off of the back of ads, because like, again, he did what I hate what he does. I was just gonna say that I'm not really too worried.
Get your own lyrics, bro.
I'm not really too worried about like the wing position coming into next season, because I think that will be solved. Like the issues that we have with the wingers right now is going to be solved once we get a striker. The space that a good striker can create for these wingers, like the space, will be on more display. So a guy like Neto will be able to take advantage of more space because we have a striker in there that can occupy 1-2 defenders or something like that. So you'll see him use his pace to the dynamic effect. You'll see him crossing into somebody that can actually head the ball, you know, all of that stuff. So it's more about like having a team that is set up, like the entire robot is set up, and we just don't know how the head yet. You know what I mean? It's like having a robot with no head right now. You know, and when you get that piece, you're gonna see a different side of things, I think, right? A guy that can actually bag goals. So I'm not really too concerned about the wingers as much, because as Jem said as well, like, I think that we have a variation of wingers. It's just what they do well. We don't have a piece up top that can actually, you know,
100%. Still got 130 people in the house. Make sure that you lot are smashing up the lights before we finish up. Listen, we're gonna finish up now, but let me ask you lot one by one. I don't want to go into another monologue, people. Just tell me yes or no. Yeah, Jem, are we making top 5? Yes or no?
Yes.
Couch?
Ask me after this next match.
After
that's the whole point.
Fair.
You can't do that.
Couch always, you always gotta wait. Couch,
He's always got a fence it. Always.
bro, this guy has a waiting thing, bro.
You know what I mean? He waits till he's got the probability of doing it, and he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna do it."
Go on, AJ. How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
How about you, Alex?
Listen, I've changed my tune. They won a big game, so the answer is going to be yeah. I didn't expect us to beat Liverpool, but I think we got enough now. Even just to win our last 2 games, I think we'll do that. Even if we don't beat Newcastle.
Yeah,
See a draw with Newcastle, maybe. You know, I got a feeling. I don't know why.
I want that win. Actually, we need that win.
Crazy. Even if we're
good enough, the thing is we're good enough to beat Newcastle. So like now we won a big game. It's like let's just go out and do it, or at the very least come out with a draw in it. So.
Yeah, no Joe Linton.
Big game, man.
If we beat Newcastle, Forest, and United, that's how I want to end the fucking season.
Well, if we do that, we're gonna get second. If we do that, we're gonna get second.
If we do that, we're getting second. We're getting second.
The team, remember, bro, we dropped a lot of games in the Christmas period and after that against these mid and lower teams, bro. The team owe us those victories, and I'm holding them to the standard. They don't care about me, but I'm still holding them to the standard, bro.
But that was the point I was making earlier in the show when Couch was like, "Oh, you're being critical." I'm like, "No, this is a good win. This is a great win. This is our best win of the season." But like, these men are in debt, bro. They owe us a lot more than just this. So like, this is great, but don't tell me that like I can't say this is a great win if we then go and lose to Newcastle. And it's like, oh, okay, this was cool, but it was just one moment. No, give us more. End the season right, also with a trophy. And then do something in the Club World Cup, innit? We need something there too.
No, 100%, man. But listen, people, make sure that you're following Jem on X as well. People, we're trying to get this guy back on his I
am, man. I've said to you, I will. I'm going to do the transfer window when it starts. I'm going to be back on.
Your specialty, Your specialty.
What you saying? Watch along last game of the season, Don? Come on, man.
Watch along against Forest, yeah. All right, do you know what? I might run that. You know, I might actually run that.
You got to kick that off, bro.
I'll be there for it.
Next season, you know, people like to cook. People like to cook my background. Even when I saw Tariq's uncle, he was like, yeah, I watch your content. And I saw that you're in that room, innit? You're in that room. Everyone has to talk about this room.
He said that.
You know what I mean? He actually said that to me, bro. And funny enough, I texted him yesterday, yeah, to tell him about Tariq, because Tariq was like, he got, what is it, Academy innit? Academy Player of the Year, whatever. I said, well done, you guys and your family and that, which is good. But yeah, big him up, man. And then Couch, listen, what have you got coming up, bro, man? Big up yourself.
Oh man, I'm trying to catch the running, but man, I'm just too busy. Like, you're lucky you caught me today, to be honest. So yeah, just looking forward to the last few games here. Again, you don't know which Chelsea's gonna show up, so you know, I'm trying not to be speaking with chest right now. I'm just gonna enjoy each game as it comes, and you know, it's up to Chelsea regardless, right? So just keep it moving.
Big up, man. Ads. Everyone, make sure that you're following Ads on Twitter as well, man. He ain't got anything coming up right now. Man's just passing through. That's what he keeps telling me.
Bro, what I got up is rehab, bro, for my shoulder. I got next week coming up soon for that. It's been going better. I can almost, you know, put my head up. I can almost do that, which is good with my left arm. So, but yeah, I mean, in terms of the football space, listen, I just need to see Chelsea keep winning, bro, and I'm gonna keep being here as a professional guest. Hopefully celebrating Champions League football, innit? Because boy, we need that again. I won't talk too tough on the Champions League in it, but this week I just need to see the results, you know, stay a certain way, and life's good, man. Life's good.
100%. You're gonna see me on Twitter just being shameless as always, man. But AJ,
in fact, you might see man eating some croissants next week, innit? We'll see it. We'll just see.
You know what I mean, bro? AJ, big yourself up, man. Make sure everyone you're following him on TikTok. You got anything coming up, bro?
Yeah, just follow me on TikTok. You know, Ad stole my lyrics now. I'm a professional guest. I'm the original professional guest. And yeah, that's really it. You know, I just want Chelsea to make Champions League, bro. It's time. We need that back at the bridge. I want to see some high quality players, you know, added to this team. And also, you know, Knicks tonight, New York Knicks game 1. We need that. We're playing against Boston Celtics. So I don't know if you guys watch basketball, but it's going to be it's a good competition if you want to tap into it and learn something new. But other than that, you know, follow me.
Don, just quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Quickly before you end, this has been the first show that I've been on where we haven't spoke about Enzo Fernandez. Oh my God. It must be just normal now, shouldn't it?
Oh, weird.
Normal. This is
over 28. No, don't worry, bro. I've got a show with Alexis and that. I need to sort out a time. Yeah, we're gonna speak about him more because he's got over 20 GA right now. You know what he's doing right now is mad.
Jem couldn't go one show without it.
He was quality.
Number one.
He was quality. And yeah, it's a shame we didn't really
We expect this from him. We
I
expect
was actually going to talk about him, yeah, but we didn't speak about it. But next stream, people, this week, look out for that one. I'm going to try to do something there with about Enzo Fernandez, yeah? But listen, everyone on Wednesday, make sure that you're buying some baguettes, yeah? I want to see you, look, go to Primark, get that little beret. What's that hat called? Beret, or whatever it's called, but that little beret hat. You slap it on your head, yeah? Ale, 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 ale.